Money is a touchy subject. Us Christians often feel guilty for wanting it. We feel bad for lacking it. And sometimes we're just confused about how to either acquire it wisely or spend it wisely. The fact is that God cares about our finances as much as he does any other aspects of our lives, which is why he's given us a ton of not only promises, but also principles on how we can become the best possible steward of our finances. And us Christians are no better than anyone else, right? We still fall into the same traps of overspending, debt, not understanding how to invest properly. So in this video, I want to talk specifically to Christians, and I want to cover 5 money traps that we typically get into, and let's get right into it. In this video, we're going to uncover 5 of the biggest mistakes that us Christians make when it comes to making money, managing money. We're going to unpack some powerful verses and practical strategies to help you break free from these patterns. We're going to build secure and fruitful financial future. Let's get into it. All right, guys. So number 1 is failure to recognize money as a tool. I think most often Christians end up in 2 camps, right? One, they're either super caught up with money to the point where like, where in the world is God? And the other is they don't understand financial principles well enough. So at the end of the day, they just end up avoiding it. We need to recognize money for what it is, which is simply a tool. If you look at 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10, we see that it says, "For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil." And that's why a lot of people avoid it, right? And it continues, "Some people, eager for money, have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs." So often I see Christians making this big mistake that just because of this passage, they are so fearful of falling into this trap that they just completely avoid any financial education, any financial wisdom, or anything that can make them more prosperous in life, right? And by avoiding wisdom when it comes to finances, you're inherently adopting bad practices, bad habits, and you end up hurting yourself, right? The Bible teaches us that money can be a very powerful tool to accomplish good. The entire idea behind this channel, and if you haven't subscribed yet, come on, what are you doing? Majority of people on this channel, by the way, are watching these videos and they're not subscribed. So if you could, drop in the comments below and tell me why. But all of this exists to help you become a better steward of your finances. I'm constantly growing as I'm doing research and studying for these videos, as I'm praying and seeking wisdom from the Lord, as I read Bible and watch sermons, etc., with the perspective of like, Lord, how can I be a better steward? All of it is for a single purpose, is that we can be not only better stewards, but more generous with our giving and helping others for the glory of God. I'll read one more verse with you when we go into number 2, and that's 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 10, that says, "Each of you should use whatever gifts you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms." That's a beautiful passage and directly relatable here. All right, so the second mistake I see a lot of Christians making is whenever they do get to the point where they start earning more money, understanding a little bit more, then they become materialistic to the point where they're prioritizing financial wealth and material things over their spiritual life. And that is a massive red flag. Matthew 6 says this, "Do not store up for yourself treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal, but store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moth and rust do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal." And then he also goes on to say, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." And I think that's when a lot of people, when I get the hate comments on Instagram, this is where that misconception lies. I am not trying to teach you how to become a better steward of your finances so that you can keep more wealth for yourself, so that you can prioritize your wallet over your heart. That's not the point at all. What I'm simply trying to do is, just like we understand basics of math, of history, and any other subject, at least get up to speed when it comes to filing your taxes, budgeting, investing, what in the world is a stock market, etc. Every Christian should at least know the basics so that they're not falling into money traps and end up being unwise and a bad steward of their finances and the money that God has actually given them. All right, so the third biggest mistake I see Christians making is not having a budget or a financial plan. They are living day by day by God's grace. God's mercy, and they assume that God's provision today means that it'll be here tomorrow. So there's no need to plan because, Jesus is coming back tomorrow and you don't have to pay your bills, forget your credit card. Big mistake. Proverbs 21:5 teaches importance of planning and preparation in all aspects of life, including finances. The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty. Proverbs 13:22 says, a good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. So you see, Proverbs here is actually saying, hey, you need to plan so that not only you have some wealth, not only your kids have some wealth, but that your kids' kids have wealth. So when you really think about that, that is very structured, dedicated financial planning. We're talking much more than just cutting a Starbucks cup of coffee. We're talking about strict budgeting. And by the way, I'm sure you guys know this, but I have a pretty awesome biblical guide to budgeting, and you can get that in the comment below, or you can DM me on Instagram and I can send you a version of it as well. Number 4, failing to give. That's correct. Most Christians don't actually contribute with either offerings or tithes. Although we're supposed to, most of them don't. And that is a massive failure. Having a generous heart is the main aspect and the main part of being a good Christian steward of what God has given us. Failure to give and to share not only shows a lack of trust in the resources that God has given you, but it's not empowering you to be an impact on anyone's lives. We learn in scripture that our giving should be cheerful, it should be sacrificial, and a reflection of the provision of what the Lord has given us, redirected towards others. Corinthians 9:6-7. Remember this, whoever sows sparingly would also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. One of the things that you need to do, and you're lacking in opportunities of blessing and prosperity. Not saying that God is going to bless you if you bless someone else, but you are missing out on the opportunity of such by not helping others, by not blessing others, by not giving offerings at church, and definitely by not participating with your tithes every time you earn something. I am a massive advocate for paying your tithes and being generous, because ultimately what it does is, if money has this grip on you and you are giving not only your tithes, but above and beyond, you take away that power that money has on you. When you become a generous giver, when you're helping other people, and you understand that the Lord is giving you the wisdom, the capacity, the capabilities to produce more income, make more money, and His blessings will catch up to you and will be poured over you. I have seen this happen over and over and over again, not only with my friends and family, people around me, but with me personally. So if you haven't taken that leap of faith, I'm telling you, do it. And then shoot me a message, not only how you feel after, but when the Lord steps in and does something absolutely amazing in your life because of it. All right, so lastly is investing without ethical implications. A lot of people will start investing money without a care in the world of where the money is going, what it's being used for, why it's being used, how it's being used, and the only thing that they focus on is the return that the money is providing. I know that investing can be a powerful tool to help you build generational wealth and be a better, more generous giver, because you're gonna have more to give, but you have to consider where your returns are coming in from. In my last video, I actually posted an entire analysis of the 5 Christian ETFs that you can invest in. Whenever you invest in something like Apple that is openly funding LGBT community and pushing pornography across, the Apple Store and iTunes Store, etc., and doing all sorts of things against our kids and don't push family values, that's what you're investing in. And we're just talking about Apple, but you got other companies and Google and etc. These go on. And the most commonly talked about ETF products on the internet all feature these companies. If you want to check out that video, pause this one, go back, take a look at it. And if you have any questions, get back to me. One of my favorite passages to bring up when I'm talking about biblically responsible investing or ethically responsible investing is Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 11 that says, "Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness. Rather, expose them. It is shameful even to mention what the disobedient do in secret." And Proverbs 18 says this, "The wealth of the rich is their fortified city. They imagine it is a wall too high to scale. But for a downfall The heart is haughty, but humility comes before honor. All right, guys, that's it for this video. This is a new setup I'm trying to work out. There's a boom mic here, and this camera now has a different lens, so I can actually pop out like pretty far if you guys want to see my office space. I'm also looking to create content with a lot more frequency. So again, if you haven't subscribed, help me out, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you want me to talk about. God bless you guys. I'm praying for you, for your families, your finances. If you watched all the way through, thank you so much, and God bless you.